What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to the Crypto Catch Up. Of course, your number one place to catch up on crypto. Now, we are seeing some crazy stuff happening over the last 24 hours. I mean, Bitcoin's price did dip below $54,000, leading a lot of investors to wonder what in the world is going on. And as this is happening, I'm noticing some crazy stuff going on from a fundamental and technical perspective that I wanted to share with you. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's catch up on crypto. Now, what we're first going to be taking a look at, of course, is what's happening just in the general market, getting a feel for what the last 24 hours have been like, because they've been rather rough, right? We got Bitcoin, ETH, BNB, Solana, all these things taking an absolute beating over the last 24 hours. You know, the last week was like on a slow, gradual decline, but then we just got kind of hit in the face with a bat yesterday, just bam, right to the downside, right? And this does leave, of course, this leads most of the market downwards. I mean, if we look at, for example, crypto bubbles, we can see that even outside the top 10, things are ugly. You know, there's STRK, OP, and Uni doing decently, but other than that, I mean, nothing really good happening right now. Sol, Atom, T, LDO, ETH, Ton, Flow, all these ones taking L's. And then on the weeklies, the losses are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, as this is happening, of course, we're starting to notice just the market in general reacting to it. You know, if we go to the Crypto and Fear Greed Index, what we can see here is that we are currently set at a 23 reading. We've now spent officially the entire last week in fear. The last 7 days have been in fear, and I still find that bewildering, honestly, because if you look at the 1 year, we've only spent a total of 45 days in the last 365 days in fear. So the fact that the last 7 in a row have been fearful, in the last 25 days, or 25 days of the last 30 days have been in fear, just goes to show that we are probably in the most feared moment of this market this whole year and last year, which is still a little bit wild to me. I don't get it, but okay, I'm not going to go into that rant. Now, Crypto Fear and Greed Index is taking a beating, and on top of that, we're also seeing our RSIs pulling to the downside. You guys know I like to keep an eye on the RSI, especially the RSI heat map, because it tells me the overall strength of these moves to the downside that we're seeing across the majority of these cryptos. And the average RSI is now currently in the weak zone for the first time in a few weeks. What you can see here is, although some things like Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, ETH, etc., are sitting a little bit closer towards neutral, most of your cryptos, especially your altcoins, which are taking a beating, are lower than that. You can see all of these different ones, right? DYDX, Atom, or WLD, EOS, ING, APT, all right? All these ones currently sitting on average in this weak zone, which is just historically a signal that we're getting towards the bottom side of this move, right? Oftentimes, whenever crypto is pulling to the downside, you see something like Bitcoin pulling back here, right? You start to see this RSI really collapse, and the RSIs of most altcoins really collapse, but you don't stay there very long. You only see a week and oversold for maybe a couple weeks at a time at most before the market tries to rebound in the opposite direction as the bulls step back in, as of course this move to the downside does weaken, aka why it's called weak. And so because of that, of course, I do think that this is a good sign that, look, although the market is looking a little bit fearful, people are worried, this thing is capitulating, etc., it does seem as if, of course, we are getting towards what I believe to be the closer to the bottom side of this move. Now, there are two primary things that I want to focus on today and show you specifically that we are currently seeing in this market, because they're very big in my opinion. Okay, the first one is from a technical perspective. We just got the very first buy zone flash on the daily charts for Bitcoin since June of 2024. The last time that we got a buy zone flash just like this, we saw Bitcoin's price rally all the way back up 25%. Now, sure, I will say it did go off here and then it went off again, right? So if we just take the average and just in between these two, it's a little bit lower right there. Bam. You're looking at a gain of about 23%. The time before that, in which we saw this buy zone flash, was here, right before this move of 25% to the upside. The time before that we saw this buy zone flash, we saw, of course, this thing rally about 25 to 27% to the upside. The time before that, we could see this thing rallied 60% to the upside. And the time before that, it called the very bottom of this bear market. And so you can see what history says. Historically speaking, in moments in which this buy zone flashes, it is a very, very, very good time to be buying. Now, does it mean that the very bottom is in? No, of course not. You can't guarantee that, right? Just like we saw back here. Boom. Went off like this, came back up, and then bam, we capitulated. But it was showing that the bottom was getting close, and that the bottom was getting close to put in. It was being put in as we, saw that first one. And that's what I believe is happening here. I think we're finally in a spot where Bitcoin's actually starting to put in a bottom. And again, that could look like this, right? It could continue to make some structure to the downside. But I do expect we are going to try to make a move back up towards some of these upper levels pretty soon here. And as a result of that, this buy zone is a massive, massive, massive sign to me that I'm right. Now, on top of that, what we can simply just do is go look at your liquidation maps at this point. Look at how heavily weighted liquidations are to the upside on the daily, how much more weighted they are on the 7-day, and how weighted they are on the 30-day. There are so many liquidations that will happen if this market moves upwards. It is insane. This is the most heavily weighted that I have seen it just within the last few months. And in times like this, I'm sure of it, that at some point this market is going to try to liquidate these people. History has shown the market moves in the general direction of the most liquidations over a medium to long period of time. And so in moments like this, when not many more liquidations happen to the downside, but a bunch happen to the upside, and you have a massive buy zone going off, and you have your RSI entering into weak territory, the likelihood of a bounce and or try to, creation of a bottom somewhere soon is very high. And so as a result of that, I'm upping my dollar cost average again. I was buying a little bit up here. Now I started buying like medium and a little bit more here. Now I'm buying more here. I'm not going to say a lot quite yet, but I am buying more, and I'm doing it a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger because I do believe that this is a great buying opportunity. Now, guys, don't forget, if you do want to trade on Margex with the link down in the description below, you can trade Bitcoin on up to 100x leverage without having to give them your personal information. You don't have to KYC. You don't need to go download and use a random VPN. You can just sign up, deposit, and start trading, and you're going to get up to not only just $10,000 in bonuses, but you're going to get access to a $500,000 KASPA airdrop, all with the link just down below. So go check that out and let me know what you think. But overall, I am incredibly bullish. I will be opening up some small long trades here that are super tiny. Nothing crazy, again, because I told you yesterday, trading on heavy leverage right now is not a good idea. But I will be opening up some tiny little long trades here because I am confident that Bitcoin's going to try to put in some sort of bottom sometime soon. Now, do we go back to the bottom side of this? Do we go back to 49.50K? It's possible, but I will continue to buy and buy and buy as that does happen, because the likelihood is here that the opportunity to the upside is getting way bigger as things become even more extended throughout that move to the downside. So I'd happily be able to buy more, and that's exactly what I would be doing. And so I wanted to share this with you today. You can't ignore things like this. Buy zones like this, you can't ignore. Liquidations so heavily weighted to the upside, you can't ignore. They're just too good of indicators, and their track record's just too good to ignore. So let me know down in the comments below, what exactly are you doing right now? Are you buying? Are you selling? Are you holding? Are you going long? Are you shorting? Are you starting to move some things around? Tell me your strategy down below. Let's go over some stuff down there in the comments. And while you are down there, don't forget, if you are new to the channel, we're only about a month and a week old. So of course, do subscribe if you are new and you do enjoy the content. Smash that like button as well, and of course share it with some friends if you think it's interesting. But overall, of course, I hope you guys did enjoy today's catch up, and I can't wait to see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.